Hello and welcome to Singing Tips Live. My name is Benita Charles, and every week I come on and I give singing tips to people, well, artists, but people have found value out of these tips because the tips are universal. They're not just for artists, but it's called Singing Tips. This is artist development tips to enable artists to take their careers to the next level. I do have an elevator pitch, and so Singing Tips Live is a weekly show designed to allow singers to learn the process. And by the process, I mean everything that happens in front of the stage and everything that happens behind the stage. And by learning this process, step by step, artists will take their careers to the next level. The great thing about these tips are they are universal tips, so anyone from any profession can learn and find value from these tips. That is Singing Tips. So, I see I have one person come on, but I don't know who you are. Hopefully I am using my iPad today, so, oh, hi Shirley, how are you? How's everything? Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Hello. So I'm using my iPad tonight, so I'm going to see how it goes. I normally have a bigger one. I'm using my mini one. But yeah, so I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about last night's show. So I did a show for Make Music New York, and it was at Corkscrew Wines in Brooklyn, a very nice, quaint wine shop. And the owner, Karen Torres, was so lovely and welcoming. Her staff was so accommodating to us. It was so wonderful. But it was a wonderful gig, and I really wanted to share some highlights with you guys. Unfortunately, I don't have any video, and there were people who were videoing. And you know what? Next time I'm going to just announce that if anyone has video, please, follow me on Facebook or let me find your Facebook, because that was one of our best shows, and it really would have been nice to have some video. But I wanted to just tell you guys what happened. So, this is an event that we do every year. It's called Make Music New York, and but it's a Make Music Day because not only New York. There's video out there, but I just don't have it, unfortunately. And man, it would have been a good show to have video because it was actually pretty, I would say, our best show to date. It was the best show we've ever done, just from a standpoint of the audience. The audience was amazing last night. I mean, first of all, they were so engaged right out the gate, and it's really unusual. Normally, you got to warm up the crowd. Normally, especially if they don't know you, because they didn't know me. But they were just so ready for good music that when there was a gentleman, there was only two people in the beginning, and so when I told him that I do original R&B, he said, "Oh, I like R&B." So I'm like, "Great," and so. Just from the very beginning of the show, people were ready for music. They were ready. They gave me a chance. How sometimes audiences, they'll judge you and they're like, "Oh, who are you? What do you think?" But they were nice. They were like, "Okay, you say, let's see what you got." And pretty much they stayed the whole show. They were engaging. They were singing along. And then, the cover songs that I do that they knew, they sang with me. They sang along. It was just, and at one point the whole street was singing along with us, and it was like amazing. That's what you want. That's what when you're a performer, that's what you want. You want to touch the crowd. You want the crowd to be, because there's nothing like, Shirley, I don't know if you've ever performed in front of a crowd and they just don't react. It is the worst feeling in the world, because I know for me, I usually try. It makes me work harder because especially if you don't get that reaction, and the harder and harder you work and you don't get, it's really frustrating. So we didn't have that problem at all last night. They were absolutely 100% with us from beginning to end. So from that standpoint, I don't think I've ever performed in front of an audience that warm and giving and just out the gate. So that was great. And, you can get spoiled. But I had some lessons from the show last night. So the first thing is show up. You have to show up, because had I not showed up, I wouldn't have had that experience. And it's a shame that I have to say that, but there are some Make Music New York events that I've been to where I showed up and some people didn't. And it was amazing because, I guess I'm old school. Like, unless I'm in the hospital, I'm going to my show. Like, that's just what I do. But there are some artists that, for whatever reason, it may not even be an emergency, they just won't show up. So you have to show up, because I showed up, there was an experience that happened last night that I'm going to share with you a little bit later that would not have happened. And it was, I would say, a miracle, but we'll get to that. But show up. I made so many new fans. Oh, you do? Okay, all right. Definitely catch the replay. Well, thanks for stopping in, and you have safe travels wherever you're going. But so I made some new friends. I signed up some people on my mailing list, and it was amazing, all because I showed up. Number 2, this was the best show, as I said before, to date, because of the audience engagement. As I said before, at one point, the whole street was singing. We had people stopping, they were driving, but they were slowing down, looking to see what's going on. And when they were stopped at the light, they were looking at us, and it was amazing. It was incredible. So, hi, Matt. Thanks so much for coming in. So, and also, I wanted to mention about our best show to date with this audience. So also with this audience, they gave us feedback at the end. And I feel like I've matured and grown up, because I was able to take the feedback and not take it personal and not get insulted. But because it was delivered in love, and it was delivered because the audience really loved what we did, but they had some suggestions of how we can make it better. And I appreciate that. And it wasn't done maliciously. It was done with love, but it was good suggestions, and I will take it to heart. And I think that I appreciate that, because they didn't have to tell us, Number 3, so I want to get to the thing that really touched me the most. So I noticed that there was a lady who was passing by, and she was wheelchair bound, and she had her nurse. It looks like her nurse was pulling her wheelchair along, and they stopped for a moment and listened. And then I didn't see them after a while, and I didn't think anything about it. And after the show, a gentleman came up to us, the band. We were breaking down. And he said, "Miss, I just want to say thank you so much." He said, "My mother was scheduled to die on Tuesday, but she was determined to go to her grandson's graduation. And she got out of the hospital. Her nurse accompanied her, and she was determined she was going to go to this graduation. And we were passing by when we heard the music." And he said, she reacted to the music, and he was so thrilled and just overwhelmed, because she was scheduled to die on Tuesday. She didn't die on Tuesday. It was Friday. She was at the graduation. They were coming back, and they were walking on the sidewalk, passing by, and she heard the music. And you won't believe the song I was singing. I was singing Work to Do by the Isley Brothers, but Vanessa Williams remade it. And that's the song that's one of the songs that the whole crowd was singing. Work, work, I can't wait to get home to you. I got so much work to do. Work, work. And every time we got to the work part, the audience would just start work, work. And then I had one side do this, and then I had the other side. And then people were passing by, and they started singing work, work. So when he told me about his mother, and at the end he said, work, work. So that was the song that I was singing when his mother had the reaction. And which I was amazed. Hi, Auntie. I was just telling everyone about the experience of the gentleman who said his mother had the reaction to my song. And the song that we were singing was Work to Do by the Isley Brothers. And the whole audience was singing work, work, I can't wait to get home to you. I got so much work to do, work. So every time we would get to the work part, the whole crowd would just start singing work, work. And so I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the fact that it was so lively, I don't know what, but he said his mother had a reaction. And it was a miracle because it was a miracle she was there, because she was scheduled to die on Tuesday. It was Friday, and she was determined to go to this graduation, her grandson's graduation. So I gave him my card and I said, God bless your mother. And, I really hope and pray that, she's okay. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but it really solidified to me of what I should be doing, because music is so powerful, and it really was a miracle because he said she reacted. I'm assuming she hasn't been reacting. She hasn't had a reaction, but he said that music touched her in a way that she reacted, and he was so excited. It was just it really was shocking. It's never happened to me before in terms of my performances, but it just shows the power of music, and it was such an incredible, that alone made it one of our best performances. But the audience was amazing. Like, they were on fire. They were with us from the beginning to the end, and even after the performance, they gave us feedback, and they were thrilled and they were excited. One of the points that they made was, we're a trio, and one of the gentlemen, he was an older gentleman, and he knew music. His father was in music, and he was telling me how his father was in a duo group where his father played the organ and another gentleman played bass, and he said they were so good that they sounded like an orchestra, and he felt like that's how good we were. It was only a trio, but he felt like we were a full orchestra. I thought that was a huge compliment. That was a compliment. Also, as I said, they just was with us. It was just amazing. Man, I wish I could have an audience like that every performance. Unfortunately, there are some performances where you don't have a reaction at all, and as I said earlier, it's hard. The staff at the venue, the owner, I have a picture on my Facebook page. I took a picture with her, Karen Home Torres. She was lovely and amazing. Her staff was accommodating to us. It just was a really great gig all around. The venue, the neighborhood, the audience, having that miracle happen with the gentleman's mother. It was incredible. But I also want to share another point. So that was number 4, was the staff. Number 5, the 5th thing that I feel like a takeaway that I have from this experience, and this is something that I've never actually done. Before the gig, I would say the night before, I was on my way to sleep, and I was researching this, and it said that that's the best time, like right before you go to sleep, right before, like when you're in that relaxed state, and right before you go to sleep, you should do your affirmations. So I said, okay, I'll try it. So I was relaxed, and right before I went to sleep, I spoke life on the show, and I said, it's one of our best shows. I spoke it as if it already happened. Instead of saying, oh, I wanted to have a great show, or oh, I hope tomorrow, I said, this is one of the best shows we've had. The audience, love it. I just started saying things like that. And I had to tell the audience, because everything that I spoke on and more happened. It was our best show. The miracle happened with the gentleman's mom. Like, that's something that I didn't know was going to happen, but because I showed up and I spoke life on that show, I really feel like that had a lot to do with it. So I decided I'm going to do that in other areas of my life. But I just wanted to share that with you to encourage you that whatever it is that you set out to do, you need to speak life into it, and you need to speak on it as if you have it. And actually, I started doing my goals like that because I have a lot, and I think I've told you guys this over the weeks, the last few weeks, how, I have so much I'm trying to do, I want to do, and I'm overwhelmed. So I started listing. Now I just started, so I can't tell you right now, but I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with this show. I'm gonna do with my goals. I'm gonna speak life into these goals, and I'm gonna speak them as if I started to write now as if I have it, because before it was like future, like, oh, this is what I want to accomplish this, da 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 da. But I decided I'm going to do exactly what I did with the show, and I'm going to say this, instead of saying I want it, I already have it. So I encourage you guys to do that, because I did that with this show, and I have to tell you, so many good things have come out of it. And I really believe it's because of the approach that I took with the show. Normally, I'm like scared to death, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, I really want it. But I didn't approach it that way, and I really feel like that had a lot to do, of course, God too. I'm going to give God the credit, but I'm not going to say I did it all. But I just do feel like taking it from a positive approach instead of a fearful approach had a lot to do with it. So just to recap, if you're just joining, my name is Benita Charles, and this is Singing Tips Live. Normally, I give tips on artist development tips and business tips, but today I wanted to share with you my show that I just did for Make Music New York last night. It was at Corkscrew Wines Brooklyn, and it's a wine shop in Brooklyn. It's a very nice, nice space. If you're in the Brooklyn area, they have they have like a backyard, and they have picnics. Unfortunately, I didn't do any live video, so when, because she wants us back. That's another thing. She wants us back. So when we go back, I'll do it better in terms of video and live video from there. But they have a backyard that's so lovely. It's a nice shop. The neighborhood is great. It was just a great. We had every year we go to different places. So this is the first time we've ever been there. So it was a wonderful venue and a wonderful event. So if you're just joining, I had a show last night for Make Music New York, which is a festival all over the city on the first day of summer, June 21st. And it started in New York, but now there's so many other cities that have, now they call it Make Music Day. It used to be Make Music New York, but now it's Make Music Day. And there's all different cities. You probably have one in your city if you're not in New York. But so all over the city, on the first day of summer, artists such as myself, we give free concerts, outdoor concerts. And my concert this year was in Brooklyn at Corkscrew Wines Brooklyn. Very lovely shop. The staff was amazing. The owner, Karen Torres, was very accommodating to us. Her staff treated us like royalty. We didn't want for anything, which was a wonderful thing. And so I had some lessons from last night's show that I would like to share with you again. So this is a recap of what I just shared. But so to all the people who just joined, the first point is show up. If I didn't show up last night, I would not have met the new subscribers to my mailing list, new fans. There were people who didn't know me. Pretty much no one knew me last night. I didn't have any of my fans there, but that's okay. But they didn't know me, so they gave me a chance, and they were pleasantly surprised because, I'm the type of person that when I give a show, I don't just stand there and sing, I entertain. So they were pleasantly surprised with that. I have to admit, I can be a bit of a ham, especially if they encourage me. But audience, they seem to like it. But show up, because I've been to so many Make Music New York events where people just didn't come. They didn't go for whatever reason. They didn't show up. If I didn't show up, I wouldn't have met the new people that I met. I would not have met Karen, who owned the venue, who loved us and won us back. So show up. You never know what will come out of your showing up. Number two, this was the best show we had to date. And it was all because the audience. It was the best audience we ever had. There were people who were just passing by who stopped, and a lot of them stayed the whole show. They sang, we had call and response songs, and they sang, and they just made it so enjoyable. And I thought one wonderful thing I thought that Karen posted on her Instagram that I'm sorry how she put it. Something like I had the street on fire or something. It was so amazing. I was like, oh, that's so cool. But I'll find it. But it was just like, wow, that's really great that she said. I thought that was so awesome. But it was truly, truly amazing. She wrote, "We now have the amazing sounds and tunes of Benita Charles music. She is rocking Myrtle Avenue." I thought that was so, it really was, because I was singing Work to Do by the Isley Brothers, and also Vanessa Williams remade it. So when we got to I Can't Wait to Get Home to You, I got so much work to do, work. Every time we got to that part, the whole audience would just sing work. And which brings me to my next point, number 3, a miracle happened. So when the whole audience was singing this song, work. And there was a woman, she was wheelchair bound, and she was obviously very ill. And her nurse was pushing her through on the street, and they stopped and paused for a while and listened to the music. And we actually had that song on at the time. And after the show, a gentleman approached us, and he said, excuse me, miss, please, I just have to say thank you for your music. He said, that was my mom, who was in the wheelchair. She was determined to come to her grandson's graduation, and your music she had a reaction from your music. And he said she was supposed to die on Tuesday, but she was determined. She was determined to go to this graduation. She was released from the hospital specifically for this graduation. And he said that was the first reaction we've seen from her, from your music. And I didn't know I was shocked. I did not know how to react to that, because first of all, that's never happened in a performance that I've ever had. And but it really didn't register until after he left, and I said, wow, the power of music. I gave him my card. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever hear from him again. I just prayed for his mom. I said, God bless your mom. But just, I'm sorry. I can't even fathom that. I mean, to me, if that's not a sign that I need to do this, I don't know what is. Because, and it also shows the power of music. And God bless that woman, because they told her she was supposed to have died on Tuesday, but she's still here. I don't know if she's still here now, but she was here last night. And she had a reaction. And oh, the funny thing about it was, too, as he was leaving, he said, work, work. And that let me know that that was the song that was on when his mom had the reaction. And I said, wow, everybody, can you? Last night when I was thinking about it, it made me cry, because it just shows the power of music. And if you are a music maker, we have some music makers on. Hi, Cheryl. We have some music makers on here. Shirley, I think she just left. But if you are a music maker, you are doing a public service to the world, because people need music more now than ever. And if music can touch a woman who was supposed to die on Tuesday and give her a reaction, that lets you know the power of music. And that's never happened to me. It never happened to a performance of mine. And to me, it was just a sign that God is telling me, this is what you have to do. This is what you were put on this earth to do, touch the world. So God bless that woman. I didn't get his name and I didn't get her name, but I just pray that, everything is okay with them. And it just, I don't even know what else to say. I don't know what else to say, because all I can say is music is powerful. It really is. And this was the best show I've ever had. That alone. Number 4, the staff, the venue, the owner, Karen Home Torres, owner of Corkscrew Wines Brooklyn, was absolutely amazing. Her staff was wonderful. She just made it a great experience, because sometimes, you never know when you go to venues, what you're gonna. I've been to shows where they just didn't care and they didn't help you, and you were on your own. It wasn't like that at all. Hi, Auntie, how are you? Thank you. Thank you so much. Last night reminded me why I do this. Just to bring joy. The joy, the just looking at the people happy and joyful, and just knowing that I touched a woman who was pretty much on her deathbed, that really says a lot. That says a lot. It really says a lot. It says I'm supposed to do this. And it really made me feel like I definitely need to step my game up, because that was a sign that, hey, you got to do this and you got to do it right. So look for things. Look for more things. Hi, Laurel. Thanks so much for coming in. I was just sharing with everyone about my performance last night. It was absolutely amazing. Amazing. As I was sharing with someone, I was sharing with everyone about the miracle that happened, where there was a woman who, basically, they told her she was supposed to die on Tuesday, and she was on her way coming from a graduation, her grandson, and it was passing through, and the music touched her in a way that her son told us that she reacted. She had a reaction, and he was so excited. and emotional, and it was just amazing. It was just a miracle. It was a miracle. But it really shows the power of music. It shows the power of God. It was not her time, and she was determined. I said, wow, that woman is strong. She was determined to go to that graduation. That was amazing. Oh, hey, Roxy. Hi, all my friends are here. Number 5, I did something different with the show. Right before I went to bed and right before I went to sleep, I did my affirmations about the show, and I spoke life on the show. But the difference was I spoke in the present. I said, this is going to be the best show that I've ever had. The audience is going to love it. I'm going to give, my performance is great. I spoke it as if it already was there, because in the past I've done my affirmations where I will or I want, but I was reading where you really should speak it as if it's in the present moment, as if it's happening. And to date, this was my best show, and I really believe it's because I put it out there to God, that and that miracle that happened with the lady, I believe it's because I put it out that this show was the best show. This was going to be the best show. And putting that love out. And also there were other people there was another gentleman who was videotaping. Oh, I wish I could have got that videotape, guys. I did not get the videotape, because that would have been the show to get the video up. But he even said that he felt my spirit. He felt that I was a good person just from the music, just from the way I was performing. And that, that was like, wow, okay. But thank you guys so much for joining. I can go on and on, but just to want you guys to know that it was an incredible night. It was an incredible, I put it on my blog. So I wrote everything out on my blog. So go to benitacharles.com blog. I just posted it on my Facebook page. You can click on the link. It takes you to my blog. But, I explain everything in my blog as well. That it was just incredible. It was just an incredible night. Oh, thank you. Yes. One of my points today was that you got to show up and you got to give it 100%. You got to, because the audience knows. And they were so appreciative. They were really appreciative of what we did. And it was just an incredible audience. But anyway, I want to give you guys some special announcements. So, yes, absolutely. You have to give it 100%. You do. Preacher Man and the Revival will have a performance on Friday, July 12th at Blackbourne 51. That's in Elmhurst, Queens, New York. 80-12 51st Avenue. More details to follow. A new 60-second singing tips is featured on Ramsey Unleashed Going Beyond Borders. He just did a new show yesterday. I posted the link on my Facebook page, but his website is Fraser, fraser1.podbean.com, Podbean, BEAN.com. And so you will hear, he has an interview with Cynthia Giant, I believe. She's a vocalist and a teacher. And my 60-second singing tips is featured on that show. And benitacharles.com, you can go to my website and link to my blog, my music, my video, anything about me, the show, the Preacher Man show coming up, the link is on there. So go to benitacharles.com. I have 1,509 hits. So thank you guys so much for your support. Never Ever Give Up video, 1,435 views. Thank you so much. As I told you before, every 1,000 views we will have a special event. So we are moving right along. So, hi, Fumo. Thanks so much for coming in. My Aunt Sala is on the line. So, thank you guys so much for your support. If you missed anything, you can catch the replay. I was just sharing with everyone my wonderful performance last night, just some miracles happened, and I know it's because I put it out there that I had already claimed that that was going to be the best show that I ever done, and it happened. It totally happened. So I want to encourage you, if you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve, you need to claim it as if you already have it, because you do. It's already there. It's waiting for you. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you next time on Singing Tips Live. My name is Benita Charles, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I will see you next time on Singing Tips Live. Thank you so much.